Okay, welcome to part 2 of our NR tier list. Since we made part 1, a few things have changed a little bit. This card, Onager, used to be 5 provisions, as you can see in the picture. Now it's 6. Mutagen and Temple both got nerfed. This is 14 and this is 9. And Radovid lost 1 power. It's 6 power now. And Inspired Zeal also lost 1 provision. Those are all good changes, maybe with the exception of Radovid in my sorry, not Radovid, Demovan in my opinion. Devotion Radovid Judgment also lost 1 power. We didn't get to that last time. So NR, especially the Zeal Muta deck, did get a few nerfs, significant ones. Although so it's a lot less common on ladder, and Onager abuse is way less common. The 5 to 6 change, I think, has made it a fair card, and it should probably stay that way. So I'm not going to go back and redo these. I still think this is stupid point, stupid design. Especially since it's like a million times better with Inspired Zeal, and like Priscilla can reset the cooldown, so it's like a million points in a short round, and they play 3 or 4 cards. This can tutor Rafar's, which can tutor another card, which can draw a card. Like, NR still has like stupid amounts of multi-cards per turn vomit, which is always bad. Battle Stations is bad. You know, like, we removed a lot of this from the game, like CDPR did, or we nerfed them into the ground, but this was like another, like, it's like right before moving out, they took a big dump in the toilet and didn't flush, and then the house was empty for a week. That's what Demovan is. It's a week-old poop. Every faction has good and bad designs, I think, special with NR. I disagree. No faction has ever had something as dumb as Muta Generator or Temple. These 2 cards, by far the dumbest cards in the game. Even Battle Stations, like, it doesn't create provisions, right? It gives a fuck ton of tempo, and it's and if you are running Arendite, which is another problematic card, it can cause issues. But no card in the history of Gwent has been as dumb as Temple. Ever. I challenge anyone to... You could argue that, like, original, like, townsfolk with Dijkstra leader, I think, is the line pockets currently. You could argue that that was worse. But in terms of, like, specific cards, I don't think any card has violated the sanctity of the provision system more than Temple. Reminder that this card was released at what, 11? 10 provisions? What did this come out as? It's currently 14, but when it was released, it was 12, I believe. Yeah. Like, for 12 provisions, you could make 3 13 provision cards and boost your Enseus by 9, which is really 18 points. So this card was a hand fix, 18 points, and 3 fucking legendaries in your deck. I've also always thought that, like, Rafards plus, like, just Rafards is an abusive card. Like, because when combined with, like, answer or lose engines, it basically means that even if you have answers, it doesn't matter. Something's going to stick. Like, that's not the way to increase the floor of cards. The way to increase the floor of cards is to give them more power, or let them get value. Like, what if bad art students, in addition to gaining patience every turn, boosted an allied unit by 1, or like boosted the unit to the right by 1, right? Then even if they got answered, they got like 1 point of, like, boost in, and opponent had to use a removal on it. So it would have traded up to, like, a natural selection, right? Which it should, because both are 4P, and a control should always trade down into a non-control card. Like, damage should cost more than points. It just should. Otherwise, why play any cards? Just play damage, right? But they didn't, like, instead of doing that, they were like, what if we let you boost this shit to 9 with Amphibious Assault? What if we have Reforts play one and then you play another one from hand? Just stupid. Or what if we drop one and give it a shield with leader? Like, that's not good design. Oh, this got to 4, this got to 4. Heck, now, like, I'll play Alumni for 12 points, which is fine. 1 6 provision card playing for that as a payoff is fine. But then you have cards like Practice Makes Perfect, which is literally free, and you get one from Gerhardt that would play for like 30 fucking points. That's any of that they shoot with bronze engines. Again, my problem is not bronze engines. Do you ever see me complaining about this card? Right? Or this thing? Or this thing? This is a very strong 4P bronze. Or where is, like, what are these other engines? Have I ever complained about this guy? No. Or this guy? No. Or this guy? No. Or this? No. Or even this? No. Like, these are all engines. And they can snowball, especially the siege ones. Like this, like these together, right? And then you throw in an onager in the mix. Like, and then with warfare cards, like triggering their cooldowns. Like, they can kill a 7 or 8 with just like one special and 1 or 2 engines on the board. Like, my problem is not with NR engines or with engines in general. I love engines. My problem is with abusive carryover engines that have a threshold that requires being answered in round 1, and not just that, that you have to be able to answer multiple engines in the same turn. That's the problem. Like, it's just an escalating arms race of, oh, you have control, I now shit out 2 cards. Oh, you can remove 2 cards. Oh, well, I can put out 2 cards and boost them, and like, or I can put out 2 cards, and if you kill them, I still got carryover because I played meter generator. It's silly. The whole thing's silly. Like, basic understanding of math would tell you that that's going to be a problem. So, please, from now on, please don't use the identity as an excuse for terrible design. Like, that's like the people who are like, monsters shouldn't have control because their faction identities points out. No. Nobody's faction identity should be losing. Losing or not being viable in competitive should not be a faction identity. Just like being cancer to play against should not be a faction identity. You don't get to be like, oh, Nilfgaard's allowed to have Nil because their faction identity is their scumbags. Well, you're a scumbag for thinking that. Get out of my game. Sorry, my cat keeps running in and out. Really, Slidio? Did you really do that? Because until you said that, I had quite a bit of respect for you. Are you mathematically challenged? Or are you trolling? Are you joking? Playing multiple engines is fine mechanic if it is costly. Yes, but Reforts isn't costly, right? Reforts Vengeance doesn't have to live, and it thins, and it gets instant value the second you play it, and deploys an engine. And then if you don't kill it, it will then draw more, and literally win the game. Plus, it does 2 damage a turn with crew. Like, it's a definition of snowbally and R mechanic that like makes games on fun. It's the same thing. If you're against like Arrakis Queen Stalkers, and they have blue coins, so they like boosted their Stalker, like everything you play will just fucking die, right? Because like if they got their Stalker on the board and gave it a TA, right, and it has Veil, so like you play a card, they play like Nat Selection or Hideous Feast or whatever, and they both like kill your thing and get points. Like, you just fall further and further behind. That's not fun. I don't use any votes to revert cards, even though I disagree with many votes. Yeah, you guys have seen in my votes from the past that I generally deprioritize reverts, right? Like when Riptide got nerfed and Incubus got nerfed, I said that was a dumb change, but I didn't vote to buff them again. I didn't vote to make Riptide 10 power again, but it happened, and I think it's fine. And they want to nerf it again, and I'm not in favor of that personally. I think that's dumb, but whatever. Like, I'm still not, it's not that big a deal. But Sergeants were too much of a problem. They belong at 3 power. They were in every single Nilfgaard deck of every archetype. Vigo is too strong. It got boosted for no reason. When it was already the best gold in Nilfgaard, it got +1 power because one YouTuber made a post and people blindly followed. And it's been sitting at like 4 power for no reason. Like, Brothan's got buffed too, but you've never seen me advocate for Brothans to get reverted. Because, like, it's not that strong, even with the buff. Like, it's very strong, but it's not. It's an 11 provision card. It's fine. Whereas Vigo is a 9 provision card, has more utility than Brothans because you can play any bronze from your deck, including Sergeant. Brothans can't play a Sergeant. Not to mention the 1 power nerf to Nausicaa literally doesn't affect Vigo or Slave Driver. So I don't understand why Slidio, like, why you want to revert it. Do you really think 2-point nerf to a deck that plays 2 Sergeants from hand is actually like what's losing NG games? Like, I'm sorry. I'm going to pause the NR tier list for a second and show you my votes. All right, back to the NR tier list. So, next up is War Elephant. War Elephant? Where does War Elephant sit? Well, my S tier is stupid point, stupid design. An elephant is a little bit binary, isn't it? Like, no, let's say you get crew and you get to click it. It plays for 16 as a 16 for 12. I think it's fine. It's fine as it is.
Mead or made.
Yo, Kostiki, thank you so much for the tier 1, man. Hey, the box that actually has your card in it actually arrived here yesterday in San Francisco. So I gotta unpack it and then I'll get with you on the rest of the stuff. But yeah, sorry. I didn't have time to mail it before my move, and
yet another horn for my collection.
Anyway, I packed it, I brought it with me. I gotta unpack it and mail it and shit.
Grizzly Bear 8000.
I think it's in this box behind me. I gotta look. I got COVID during my move too. Anyway, thank you so much, man. Appreciate the 9 months and currently on a 4-month streak. Why isn't there an only from Temple tier? I mean, we can just call this a gift from Temple. There you go. Okay, Falibor can't be saved. Gerhardt. Stupid point, stupid design. Because it's immune. It's stupid design. A gift from temple. A gift from temple. I don't know what that category is yet. Anseus. I hate this card, but archetype. Carries the faction. These are carrying NR. Binary nonsense. Okay. Now. This whole alphabet thing is kind of annoying. I don't know. These are honestly the balance card. Can't be saved. Or I think Ildico's probably okay at 6 power. Eldar's okay. Neneke can't be saved. What does Death Mold do? By 1? Ugh. Yeah. Oops. I don't want the color of this to be the same as Tyromancy. Yeah, that's better. We'll just call it buffable. Volta's Pride is balanced. Hubert, I think that's balanced. Behold, fine. You can buff this guy by power. This is by the amount he's boosted. I think that's interesting enough. He's just kind of expensive. Maybe lower provisions would be good. No, Prince Stannis can't be saved. Pavetta is cheesy nonsense, I think. Yeah, the fact that Ansaeus can play for 20 points, including removal, is stupid. Yes, but that's because of Temple. Ansaeus by himself, like if you play it, it's 10, maybe more, right? But with setup, it can do more than that. But outside from Temple, it doesn't usually happen. But Lebioda, I think he's like. Like, this is a card that if you buff it enough to be playable, it would cause problems. Shield and Ansaeus is a lot? Yes. But then it, like... That's kind of a payoff of Shield Wall. I think it's okay. Because Shield Wall can't, like, play a million duelers, right? And, like, he still loses the shield, so there's another cost to that, right? Sure, he's like a stupid amount of removal in terms of how tall a target he can kill, but opponent has to have a tall unit for him to get that much value. Whereas when Temple boosts something, even if opponent doesn't have a 14, Temple still gets like Ansaeus still gets 1,000,000 points, right? Just from the boost itself, gives you a stupid amount of reach. Even if he kills a 7, it's still 21 points of reach, which is insane. Whereas a shield walled Ansaeus is like 10 points if it, like 15 points if it removes something, right? Or 18 maybe. But not really, like... Not really that much more than that. I don't know. It takes a leader charge. Odo, I think Odo is basically balanced. Sabrina, you can buff this to 7. Would put it on par with Surrender. And it takes some setup. It's harder to pull off Surrender. Visigurd can't be saved. Visigotta... I don't want to save this because it would just be too binary. I think Anna can be buffed. This card is just fucking clowny. This is random duel, a random unit. What's it even called? Bernard Laredo. Duel a random enemy unit. This is like such a nonsense card. It's like, oh, it's like the pred dive of NR. It never feels good to lose a unit to this, and you always lose respect for the opponent for playing it. What the hell is this card? Egmont. Oh, he's definitely buffable. He's like Phantom and some of the other. He's like one of the worst of them, though. Like these, like, would anybody object to Egmont and Anna being 6 provisions? No. This could also be 6. This is balanced. These cards are honestly carrying an R. Like, the cards that are here are the cards that are carrying an R. Some of these cards are also carrying an R, but in a bullshit way. We're not going to talk about those. We talked about them enough last time. Letitia is garbage, and you're a garbage person if you play this. If I ever see anyone playing this card, I instantly lose like 16 ounces of respect for them. I think this can't be saved. Unfortunately, it's like the definition... First of all, this has to be on the board, right? And it has formation, which kind of like... What, am I just going to play it for 8 points? I'm never playing it for 8 points. And I would say buff it, except it has a stupid high ceiling in a deck like Reavers or some sort of mutagen abuse deck, where it just, like... It's a destroy, too, right? It's not just a damage, it's a destroy. So, I mean, like, when do you need to do exactly 2 damage? Almost like destroy a 2? Almost never. I mean, you can make a golden necker deck and have this in the deck along with Sabrina, but also an improved fucking ballista would do the same job, right? A reinforced ballista, sorry. So what exactly is the point of it? This guy. Or for Sabrina combo. Like, I just don't understand it. Like, why do you exist? It's a control that can't be used reactively. Yeah, let's nerf Inspired Zeal and buff Vest. I'm okay with that. Nathaniel Postodi, this could use a buff. Because he gives bleed, so he's by definition can't be too snowbally, right? Like, you can save a lot of charges on a Priestess and use it on this, and I would be fine with it over Onager. Because Onager removes stuff. This gives bleeds, which takes time to tick, and I think is fine, right? Like, if Priestess decks were playing this instead of Onager, I'd be like, fine. But they're not. And this can be made to 6 provisions. Or 6 power, I don't care which. These cards are just carrying an R. Wait, what? Weird things happening with that text field. These are cards that, like, they see play. They would see play, potentially. Some of them would need a slight buff to see play, but, like, they're useful. They're just not worth you paying for it because they're situational. They're like compass cards, basically. Well, what the hell are these colors? Am I running? I don't understand the colors on the screen. Can I make these cheese? Yeah, okay. Trololo, he can be buffed. He can be 6 provisions. What is this one? Voimir? There's so many 7 provision cards that could use a buff. I don't know why people are obsessed with 5 and 9 and 10. Boost an allied unit and all its copies to give them 1 armor. This is just a commandos card. Or Dun Banner. I think this could get buffed. Like, I don't want to buff those decks, but I feel like I feel like it might be played more in other decks if it wasn't just like so if it had a higher floor. Like at 6 provisions, you would play it if it would buff 4 soldiers, right? Because then it would be like 9 for 6. And also gives them armor. Good with Revenants, good with Redanian Archers. I think Chariot's balanced where it is. Same with this guy. Cohen, sure, you can buff him. Kutkadak. He's just like a purified that's limited to adjacent units. No. Plus, there's already another purify in NR. Stupid point, stupid design. These are trademarks of NR. SPSD. Because this is like so dumb. The fact that this can draw your entire deck if not answered. Ridiculously high ceiling. And it's 6 provisions. Like, this is so cheap. Can you imagine if I had a card like this in Monsters, what I could do with it? Kudak is a knight. Have you ever seen this played in a knight's deck? Ever. Half the time you don't even want to purify the other thing. You only want to purify one thing. Because if you purify 2 things, you lose an infusion or a shield or vitality. In a knight's deck, you don't want this. That wasn't a literal question, FG Blaze. Have you ever seen a respectable player play this in a tournament? No, then shut up. This one time I saw an idiot on ladder playing it. Isn't a proper answer to have you ever seen this play in Knights? Good connection have Grace. Grace 10 spawn and play combi? Yeah. I think Marguerite's balanced.
Ha!
You're joking?
Yet
I see.
another horn for my collection.
Well, I wasn't asking for jokes.
Just hedged, just followed.
This could be made 5p. There's some fun synergies with this. And it can be countered with killing it and squirreling it or banishing it with like a Cyprian Wily or something. Okay. We're at the 6 provision gold part, which is like some of the most like sad looking cards in the history of the universe. Scylla the Tansarville. Anybody know the lore to this card? I don't remember. I don't know what this is from. No memeing allowed? You can meme. But that was a joke. So if you meme, I'll ban you. Witcher 2. What did she do? Like, what's memorable about this character? I mean, this is right now an 8 for 6. But it's like a mage? You know, not a siege unit? Like, if this was a siege unit, it might see play. Because there it gets like 4 damage. She's a Lodge Sorceress in Kovir? Huh. Oh, you mean like I mean... Yeah, like a power buff might make her playable. Because then she'd be a 9 for 7, which isn't bad. Before Axel, 9 for 7 used to be good. I think this could use a power buff. Vincent? Nah, it's too binary. It's too situational. You know, like, oh, they have an Egron. This played for 14 points or Morvat, right? But like, oh, I'm against Pirates. This will play for like 2 plus 6 points at most. Not good. Probably on a unit that has armor. It's not like NR has a Glusty Warp or something. Like, I know this is for Revenants, but like, if you're using it on... If you're using it to set up Revenants, you're probably wasting the point value of it. The specific tall removal is such a bad idea. Like, have you ever felt good about getting hit with a Glorious Hunt? Does anyone? Kenneth and Gar? That's true, but that's like 2 6 provision cards you gotta play in the same round just to kill 1 unit. Just heatwave the thing, man. It's save everyone the hassle. I think this card is balanced as is. He gives crew, it's just that like giving crew isn't that valuable right now because like why would you play a gold soldier when you can play a bronze soldier and copy it? Alumni? I'm gonna put this into stupid point, stupid design. This might be a controversial one, but as long as PMP exists, Alumni is cancer. If it was like just one, if it was only played once, fine. Right? If this was a gold, instantly becomes balanced to me. But the fact that you can get it from chapter, the fact that you can PMP it and replay it over and over again, just makes me hate this card completely. Frigate, I mean, it's like kind of buffable. It's 2 points a turn and creates a swarm, but also like board clogs. I mean, it's like the weaker of the 6Ps, but I don't think it's I don't think it's on, like, how do you buff it? You don't want to make it 5P. If you make it 5 power, then it's very hard to answer. Well, Kenneth and Gar support? Odrin is fine for 4P card? What? No. Fine. The thing is, like, you can give this one power. You can make him a 7 for 5, and I'd be okay with it. Like, the thing is, like, there are some cards that with crew are really annoying. Like, for example, Chariot, right? Or Frigate, or Foltest Pride. And, like, a lot of times your counterplay to them is denying them crew. If this exists, it's very hard to deny crew. Both to 5P, road space is limited, and you can't clear it. No, I mean, these two cards are either balanced or can't be saved. Like, they're just at a threshold where if you make them, like, if you make this 5 provisions, it just goes into mutagen degen deck. And maybe we're gonna kill Muta, and that's okay. But so when we do, then fine. But this can't be made 5P, and this can't be made 5 power. I would be totally fine with giving this 2 armor, you know, but at 5P, like, this is way better than the 5P engines. It's 2 a turn compared to like 1 damage a turn, like, or 1 point a turn. Like, why should the Frigate and this be the same cost? Frigate is like this, but has armor and doesn't go tall. Like, why would you play Carabalista if you can play Frigate? Carabalista is 2 points every 3 turns. This is 1 point a turn. Why should Frigate be the same as this? Why is 5 power so much better than 2 armor? Because of cards like Offering, Toad, Cyprian Wily. Like, there's a lot of things that can destroy a 4, right? But they can't do 6 damage. Drummer is a 4P card? I disagree, Mammoth. Like, I mean, like, if it boosted itself, it'd be a 4P card. Because they're, like, this is all power creep. Like, trying to make everything fit the most OP cards is how you get power creep. Like, you have cards like Wild Hunt Hound and, like, Magni, the old Magni division, which is now a neutral bandit. Like, those are 4P cards. 4P cards should be like, if a 4P card is an engine, it should boost itself only. It should not boost something else. Like, I just don't think that's good design for a 4P card. You think 5 power for Frigate will be very balanced? That's because you haven't played Frigate much or played against it much. Like, 2 points a turn is the same as a Marine or a Piggy, but with me, it's kind of stupid. Not to mention, Frigates actually have resupply. So every time you play a Warfare card, it's an extra 2 points. Like, think of it as 2 lackeys. Make AA into Kid Winnie Knight great again? I know what you're talking about. It's the summon... Well, no. Where is it? The one when summoned or played from deck, right? Where does it go? This guy. But, like, you're not gonna A this. Like, they're better off. Like, this goes to 7, right? You're better off playing this, because this also goes to 7 as a reach card with AA. Like, it will go to 7 plus 5, like 12, right? This is 12 from AA. If you want a reach card, play this, because then at least it goes to 7 even without AA. It's just better than Kidwinny Knight. Kidwinny Knight has a, you know. Other machines damage engines. This boat goes wide and you have limited spaces you can't clear. You act like that's a problem. Like, this is the kind of card you play one of in a round, and even it takes 8 turns for this to fill a row. I'm sorry, like, how are you having this problem? Or 7 turns if you have like one Siege Master or whatever. Okay, after 7 turns, I guess it feels whatever. Like, if you're filling a row with this, you're either playing Military or you're playing Meave, and you're gonna get plenty of value once it fills the row. Like, it's fine for this to have a hard cap. Great Swords have a hard cap. They're 6 provision cards. Great Swords don't boost past 10 or 11 or whatever. Why should this get 30 points? Yeah, it's like, oh no, this thing worked and gave me, what? 14 plus 4, like, it played for 18 points for 6 provisions. That's why it's shit. What? What are you talking about? Yeah, exactly, Dadango. Thank you, guys. Voice of reason. I understand that it can be clunky, like it's hard to just throw it in randomly into a siege deck, but it's not a card that you play on the same row as your Henselt and Foltest Pride. Just don't do that. Just don't play it there. This is a round 1 card or a round 2 card or a card that you play with Siege against like decks that do a bunch of random damage and you want to put bodies on the board. Think of it as like a point slam engine. That's what Frigate is. Yeah, and even if you didn't win the round, the point is, if it clogged the row, it played for 14 points as a 6 provision cards, it's fine. It's allowed to have that as a downside. Reavers, definitely a stupid design. If the second Reaver was different than the first Reaver, so that Iteran couldn't abuse it, sure, Reaver could be actually a decently interesting card. It could even go down to 5 provisions. But because of the interaction with Iteran, Reaver will never be wholesome. And same with Scout. Like, copy and replay Soldier is such a stupid card. This is balanced and also like kind of super strong, actually. I think people dramatically underestimated this card. And like, it's free thinning that also purifies on demand. Like, come on. If I could mulligan my Peller and have it pop out from the deck the first time one of my cards gets locked, I would happily pay 2 extra provisions for it. This is stupid design because it's like carryover abuse in a snowballing situation. Like, it's fine. Like, okay, NR got blue coin and they landed a bunch of Arbalests, or their Visigoth Iteran cheese stuck and they fine. Okay, they win this round, right? Cheesy shit is allowed to win a round. It's not allowed to. It should not be allowed to carry over into the next fucking round and win the game just because you didn't have answers in round 1, which is what this card does, and it's stupid. That gets. The next card is Arethusa Adepts. Whenever an ally unit's patience is triggered, boost self by 1. This is a card that is either getting no points a turn or way too many points a turn. It has a stupidly low floor and a stupidly high ceiling. Like, you remember Meditating Mages? This card would go to 30. Like, this card is too binary. Like, can't be saved. If you buff this to where it's playable in a reasonable game, it will just be stupid in a cheese game. And so it's just a dead card. The stupidest design is Iteran? Iteran could have been cool. There's just some interactions that are really dumb with it. In that game I played against a Shipbalista Abuser, how did they get a bonus Visigoth from Iteran? How did they spawn one? Oh, Iteran has this weird interaction with Demovand, where because Demovand banishes the card from your deck and then spawns it, Iteran gives you a copy. Isn't that stupid? Like comboed with defender, it's like the stupidest thing. Okay, we need a new we need a new row. Garbage rework. This is a special section reserved for CDPR's finest work, which is the reworks they did that basically killed cards. Like, I understand if you didn't touch it, but if you tried to rework a card and then you somehow make it even less played, that's just a new sin. Is there any other card that belongs there? Angela, could you tell me what is Tyromancy? Oh, there's a mission in The Witcher called Tyromancy where you go and like go underground and you're searching for stuff in a stinky cheese lab. And Tyromancy, I didn't know what this means either. Most English speakers don't know. It's like the study of cheese, or like it's like necromancy, but instead of working with dead bodies, you're working with cheese. So it just means cheesy. Battering ram. This could be buffed to 5 power, I think. Because every like 3-ish turns, it's 3 damage. No, maybe it's but nobody put this in the deck. The problem is like not every card that people don't put in their deck needs to be balanced, I think. That needs to be buffed. Because like you get one of these from scenario, so if we buff this, then it can't be answered. And right now, the fact that you can do 4 damage, and that 4 damage card plays for 7 against a card that puts like when they play another siege engine, like if they play a frigate or reinforced ballista, you have to make a choice. You answer that or you answer this. And if this is 5, then it kind of makes that a bit too strong. I unironically think these should be 4 provisions. It's fine with me. This is balanced. Centurion Royal Guard. It's stupid point, stupid design. Like this card never gets played as just 2. It only gets played when you can like abuse it with cheesy Iteran or Flotsam Inspired Zeal Scout nonsense, and it's just never a good time. I really don't like Spellweavers. They're like, they either just run away with the game or they just get shut down. They're basically like Reavers before some of the power creep. Curse Spellweaver, or sorry, Curse, what is it? What are these called? Damn Sorceress, sorry. Damn Sorks, fine card. It has counterplay, kind of. It's really annoying, right? It kind of demands an answer or becomes a 2-point-a-turn engine in certain decks, but it's about synergy between cards, and that's the kind of engine that we want in the game. I would put Griffin Witcher here as balanced, except for the Veil abuse, which makes him really stupid. So I'm going to put him as cheesy as fuck. Because I think giving Veil to a card that's designed to lock itself is just a bug that hasn't been fixed because CDPR never cared. Griffin Witcher Mentor. Well, this is played with Priestess and Military only. Sometimes as a consistency card, which is fine, but I hate that that's the case because this card itself is kind of wholesome now by itself, but its interaction with Military and Priestess is so toxic. I'm going to put it in balanced, and then I'm going to make sure to put Traveling Priestess in terrible. Yeah. This was released at 4p and is still at 4p, although it used to get 1 extra charge each shuffle. Can you imagine? 50% more points for priestesses? God damn. This is unironically a very interesting and balanced card, because it's like, if the round has gone long enough and the opponent has 9 cards on a row, this can play for 11 or 13 potentially, or sorry, 12. But that's okay. It's a very conditional 12 for 5, and it's like an incubus, right? You could give this 1 power and I wouldn't complain. These already got buffed. These what are these camel thingies? Are they 5? This is like so boring. This used to be 3 power, and for some reason beyond my understanding got buffed to 4. No one plays it still, even though they could in a like a shield wall deck. It would just be dumb. This card is so garbage, I don't even know where to put it. It didn't get reworked, but it is garbage, and it shouldn't be buffed. Put it in that category. This 3 power Veil engine that like boosts 1 a turn and stops boosting when you click it, I think it's balanced. It's annoying, but it's fine. These knights were a problem. I think now they're essentially balanced. I mean, they're really annoying, but one second. Okay. I don't think... Let's leave Frigate here at balance for now. Isn't Sylvia just bad Arbalists? They're Arbalists for mages, but they also proc not just off of units with orders, but with spells. So in 1 turn, Centurion Spellweaver can get like 3 or 4 charges. If you just play something like Trish Telekinesis, or like if you AA into... Is there a card that plays a special? Like, well, you can't AA into Trish Telekinesis, but hold on, let me pull up all the spells. Like when you play Chapter of Wizards, right? This creates a spell which plays a mage. Like if you play a rune word, you're giving each Centurion Spellweaver 2 charges. If you like casting contest or PMP something, I don't know. There's a few ways to give them multiple charges. Like Rune Mage can do some stuff. Some cards play, like there are cards that play a mage, and it can be really quickly, like more so than Arbalists sometimes even. Although yeah, I mean Arbalist has some other ways it can do nonsense because of Flotsam, it's the same thing. They're not worse. It's just that mages are worse right now because you can't copy them with Slave Drive with a Reaver Scout. You have to copy them in another way. Arbalists, I call them cheesy as fuck. They're just snowbally. Lance Connects are balanced because you can only use them once. Renegade Archers are either too weak, they're either too weak or too strong. They should not be touched. Reinforced Ballista, good wholesome card. Wait, not buffable. These are balanced. There you go. Rivian Pikemen, these could receive a 1 power buff because they only go once. They're not engines. I think these siege supports are very, very strong. They should not be buffed or anything, but they're good where they are. They can be a little annoying if you don't draw them, but that's kind of the nature of some of these thinners. this is like, I don't want to buff this because it can protect engines, which like against an art, you have to kill their engines or you lose the game. So this is, oh, so cheesy. This Temerian, this can play for like 13 points. Or like this is just 12 points with even with your basic 3 leader charges. Why? Why is this a Corsair without a condition? The condition is you have to have another unit. Like, fuck off. Most people don't use their leader in round 1, and like this rewards you for that by giving you a 12 for 5. Mauler could be buffed. Like cards like Mauler. So it's order damage enemy unit by 2. I mean, like, if you're gonna give me a card I can only click once, at least give me 5 power so it can't be trivially removed. Or it gives it a higher, like 6 for 4 isn't good. You need at least 7 for 4. What about this guy? This is 3 damage, which to me is a little different than 2 damage. I know it's like broken in 2 parts, but like I don't necessarily, like, I don't know if we should. The Drainage is also road restricted, yeah. This sees almost no play, except in like Onager abuse decks when Onager was 5p, which apparently some people want. Some people are on crack. No, Onager at 6p is like the best thing to happen to NR and the game in a long time. I think Gabane's gonna hate me for this, but I think students can't be saved. I don't know how you make alumni playable without making it oppressive. Does anybody have any ideas? Like, you can't make students 5 power. They should be answerable, because that's the counterplay. But I don't know. They just have like such low floor, such high ceiling. With only power provision change, I don't think that these can be saved. This card is so terrible. I think it should be nerfed. Yeah, I'm gonna put it in the stupid points, stupid design. Because like Foltest you can counterplay. But this guy just like on a done banner, this is 8 points already. Oh, I hate this card so much. Only problem because Letitia. No, even without Letitia. Like, Standard Alumni did not play Letitia. Letitia was a cheesy, in cheesy versions. No, Neutral will be the last one, Homer. We've done every other faction, though. This is the last faction. Okay, next card on the list is Centurion Artificer. This has formation and gives an allied unit a shield. It's not bad. It's just no one's ever going to put it in their deck at 4 power. It's super strong if you give a shield to Ensace or something, but like that's a clunky combo for a card often used to answer stuff. So I think this can go to 5 power. I think that's fine. I know it will probably be used in some cheesy deck, but same with Enchantress. They're a bonded unit that currently plays for 6 or 8. I think it can go to 7 or 9 because it's bonded. And I know that will encourage truffle abuse and Dwems and Centurion Envoy is, I think, balanced at 4. It gives you consistency as a free 4 provision card. And for a 4 provision card, giving you, like, letting you pick what's on top of your deck, that's very, very strong. Although some monkey-related members of the community have gotten into their head that free cards should also thin the deck and play for 8 or 9 points or 12 points. And I strongly disagree. And I hope we can summon a coalition to prevent the damage you're doing to the game. Centurion. Where is it at? Centurion Knights. These were a little OP when the Grace rework happened. But I think they got nerfed by 1 power, or their Grace got increased by 1, and now they require more than just being played to trigger Grace. I mean, the core problem was always the scenario, but it is what it is. Oh yeah, Amphibious Assault. I think this is a stupid point, stupid design card. Like, boosting bronzes to be basically golds in terms of like how hard it is to remove them and doing it twice a game, but also like being usable for point slam and being usable to tutor, and like it's also a warfare card. This card has been responsible for so much of NR's problems, and it had like a 99% inclusion rate until it got nerfed, and then now we're back. Like, I hate AA so much. Like, make NR engines have higher floors so that they're not like completely useless if they get removed or if they get answered. Either by giving them more power, but not by artificially sometimes giving them 9 power, sometimes having 3 power. Like, that's not good. Don Banana. These have been changed to 4 power, and right now they're too strong. And also stupid cheesy. Like, why can't we just have 6 for 4 plus 1 thinning be the standard for 4 provision thinners? I know these are conditional. And if it wasn't for Foltest and this garbage, this cancerous card, Blue Mountain, whatever. What's it called? Blue Stripe Scout. If it wasn't for Blue Stripe Scout and Foltest, I wouldn't have as much of a problem with done banners. Like in Uprising, as a thinner, they're wholesome. Fine. Great. They have to use a leader charge to boost it or set up something to boost it, and that's fine with me. But when you combine it with Foltest, the fact that it instantly pops out the deck, same with Commandos, because essentially once you have like 6 Commandos, it doesn't matter. No one plays that 3 power? Uprising does. And just because the card doesn't see play at a certain power or provision, doesn't mean you have to buff it. It means you gotta nerf other stuff. Like, Redanian is a balanced card. Redanian Knight. It's a very good 4P card. Kind of demands an answer, and if left alone long enough, it does a lot. Same with Curse Knight. Curse Knight is stronger than it looks. It's a 6 for 4, but it can transform an allied unit that is not a Curse Knight into a Curse Knight without changing its power. This is important. So, if the opponent plays like a false Siri, you can use it. If it poisons one of your units, you can use it, and you don't lose or gain any points. But more importantly, you can use it on a card like Regis Bloodlust, even if it's a neutral. For some reason, you can use it on neutrals. And we'll turn that Regis into a bronze 20 power Curse Knight. 20 base power, or 19 now. And then you can necromancy that card. That's kind of silly. But it's a clever card because like it's like a sort of a unique tech that Nilfgaard that NR has. And I like it when factions have like faction specific ways to creatively answer stuff. You know, like when monsters consume something that, or you know, like when Syndicate poisons something to kill it. I don't know. Those kinds of things. When Nilfgaard picks something up with Taurus second form. It's the only way to buff? No, it's not the only way. You could also just not buff it. Or you could nerf other things. Right? Or you could buff the card that's played with it. That combos with it, right? Like if this was easier to proc because this card had like 4 power or something, I'm not saying that, but just as an example. There's more than one way to buff a card. You can buff cards indirectly. Okay. I think I need a new category. Just call like sorry. I think I need a row. And this is just like cards that are hopeless and yeah. These are just hopeless cards. Like some cards just can't be saved and shouldn't be saved. This is buffable. This is poor fucking infantry. It's a drog thing. Right now it plays with a 5 for 4. With 3 bodies, it can go to 6. And it can provide crew and stuff. 6 for 4 wouldn't be too bad. This is cheesy. This hand buff card is so cheesy. This is Siege Tower is balanced, I think. It's perfectly fine. It's a very interesting card. Same with Siege Master. These are good 4Ps. Squire also. Like, yeah, you gotta answer it. Yeah, it does a lot, but also like good. Like, you can answer it. It's not that hard. And if you do, it plays for 4, and if you don't, it plays for sometimes 6, sometimes a lot more than 6. But it involves decision making from both sides. This devotion guy that plays for 7 is balanced. It does not need a buff. Same with this Witcher Adept that transfers other Witchers. It's almost like too good, but not too good. But like it's a little bit annoying when it sticks. But it's like a Kikimor Worker or one of these Redanians. I think these cards, like, this is the best they should be. This guy is like 3 + 3 charges, and those charges have synergy with other things, so I think that's fine for it to be 6. This could use a buff. Right now it's like a 3 + 3, but it's bleeding, so it takes time. I think it can go up by 1. Now, compared to Plumard, though, Plumard is like 4 and 2. Like... But Plumard also deserves a buff, so that's no reason to keep this down. Cintrian Scythe, or was it Scytheman? Is that what it's called? Lyrian Scytheman. Boost self by 1 for each boosted unit on the route. That's a good way to buff Uprising. If you want to buff Uprising, buff the power of Scytheman, because it buffs that leader and then also buffs the card, which is very little play. But there's lots of decks that play lots of boosted cards that just never play this as a finisher, and maybe they should. Radovid's Royal Guards, they give armor. You could buff them by 1 power. I would be cautious, but like, it also wouldn't be the end of the world. Because it's a one-time thing, and it can be answered. Siege Ladder, I think this is balanced card. It's only usable on friendlies. This is just... Yeah. These are just like... Forget these. Just forget these cards. Casting contest. I'm gonna put it at... Provisions are a social construct. No. Stupid point, stupid design. The reason is, it works on soldiers. If you make this not work on soldiers, I would move it to balanced. Smoke them out. Which one is that? This? Yeah. Well, it's played in Military, but yeah, it's pretty hopeless. PMP? Cancer. Actual cancer. 4P card that plays for 20 plus points. This scenario is also provisions are a social construct. Like, what the hell is up with this? The passive chapter of it playing for so many points, it just vomits out like 30, 40 points. It's so stupid. It's the definition of an answer or lose scenario. Siege is balanced. Trying to at least put the golds in. Yeah. And then Knighthood. This is a hopeless card if I ever saw one. Maybe some golds can be in the hopeless category. Like these cards, so there's some cards in here that like can be buffed to be playable, but yeah, I think that's a distinction between hopeless and can't be saved. So let's go. Hold on. Buffable can't be saved. Cheesy as fuck. Garbage rework. I think Toxic Tyromancy kind of covers it. What's Letitia? Should be in here. Yes, it is. Reinforcements is a bit too strong. Honestly. But, it wasn't, like, reinforcements is the card that exacerbates existing problems. Like, if scouts are a problem, then reinforcement of scout is an even bigger problem. But I'm choosing to not blame reinforcements. This card can go down a provision. It can go to 7. Just like this is Sabrina's Inferno, the card that I'm talking about. Damage each non-spectre unit by 1. Anywhere destroyed, just repeat this ability once. Now it has a stupid high ceiling, but it's like a payoff card. It's like Bone Talisman, you know? If I have a full board at 1,000 plays for 18, this is similar. So same with like Offering to the Sea. It requires some setup and building a deck around it, but once you do, it should... I think 7p would be fair. Then we have Bloody Flail. Where are you at? Give an enemy unit bleeding 8. For each soldier controlled, decrease the bleeding by 8 damage. So this card can do 8 damage, but only once you have 8 soldiers. Otherwise, it does like some damage and bleeding, but you never want the bleeding from this. If you're using a card like Bloody Flail, like what problem does it solve, right? What is the purpose of this card? You have Boiling Oil in the faction at 5 provisions. So this is a card you only play if you want to kill 6s and higher. And you don't ever want to turn a 6 power card into 1 with or 2 with 1 bleeding on it. Like, you're not doing that. It's not like you can play whatchamacallit? What are these 4 provisions? It's not like you can play a Revenant and have it have Zeal so you can click to follow this up. Like, you never want the bleeding from this. So this is basically a card you can't play until you have 8 soldiers. Removal cards that require you have 8 soldiers, like Ser Quan is kind of acceptable because it's any unit you control, so that gets played. This is not. And Ser Quan counts himself. So Ser Quan can play for like 19 points. This has a cap of 8 damage. Like, honestly, you're better off just playing a Rock Slide for 8 provisions and saving yourself the heartache. This Bloody Flail card cannot be saved. Like, the problem with it is that it's a conditional damage card that is never there when you need it. Runestone? I think Runestones are fine where they are. I mean, they never get played, but at 4p they'd be too strong. So I'll put it here in the can't be saved, because in theory you could save it, but then it would be too strong. Same with Vincent, same with Visigoth. This guy, he's just hopeless. And same with, where's Prince Stannis? Yeah, he's already here. And Death Mold. Like, to make Death Mold playable, you'd have to make him like 4p. Just forget it. Neneke, same thing. Like, these won't be dangerous even with like 1 or 2 buffs. These will be, and we don't want them to be. Visigoth? Let me see, hold on. Maybe I misunderstood the card. Visigoth, gain charge equals the number of boosted allied units. That's unit by 1. Okay, so let's say you have like 10 cards. This plays for 15 as a 15 for 8? Okay. Do you think this is balanced or buffable or too binary? The problem is in Reavers, not in casting. No, casting contest can be used on scouts, on Lance Connects. Like, why can I casting contest a siege fucking engine and replay it? Like, no. Like, we have winch for Carabalista. Why do we have? Why is it allowed to? Why are we allowed to use casting contest on it? Casting. I don't know why I said it like that. Prince Stannis, because he's an 8 for 8. So for him to be good, like, we have 4 provision cards that play for 8. This is like the Milena of, not Milena. Is it Milena? Scoia'tael has something like this. It's like a 8 for 9. This is an 8 for 8. Like, this would have to go down to 4 provisions before we consider, like 5 provisions before we consider it, and that makes him hopeless. Malayan, yeah, like it's the same category as Malayan. Why do we do? I don't know. People seem to really like it, Arthi. It's just nerds love tier lists kind of thing. I think Rune Ward can be buffed by 1. This is like the best way to buff alumni, is to make this 5 provisions, because then it would also make it available from Gerhardt. I like people keep. You have no idea. Like, once a day, I get a comment on my YouTube video that did for part 1 of this, asking me, "Hey, where's part 2? Where's part 2? When are we doing NR? When are we doing NR?" I think for some people, it's just a nice way to revisit all the cards, and to like hear what I think about them. Some people like might not know if a card is good or not. Like, for some other people, they just like to rank things and see what you think they should be ranked and what I think, and where we agree, where we disagree. You know, nerds like ranking things. Boiling Oil is balanced. It's a neat card. It's a cool card. So we have another card here. This is Forbidden Magic. Damage enemy by 2. And with a Death Blow, it spawns a Revenant. So it's a bit of a tricky card because it's 5 provisions for 2 damage. But then it becomes like 2 damage plus 4, so 6 for 5. But at 4p, it might be in too many decks. It's a spell and not a warfare card, so it doesn't have any siege synergy. Just a little bit awkward. I don't know. Like, I wouldn't play this even in a Revenant's deck. Like, it's just too expensive, and 4p would be too strong. Chapter Wizards has been buffed to 12p now, but I still think it's like a dumb card. Because it like creates, it duplicates an alumni, which plays for like 30 points. I don't like cards that can like so have such a stupid. I mean, not 30 points. That's not fair. Like 12 points or something. And like, you've answered all the alumni, but they get a free one from that, and it's just, I don't know. Vandergriff's Blade. I think this card is balanced and underrated. Vandergriff's Blade is an artifact, which is a little weird. But on deploy of this artifact, it damages an enemy unit by 5, and then stays on the board. Or sorry, even if it leaves the board, it boosts the if you get a death blow, it boosts the power of the next unit that you play. So it's kind of weird. Like, it's an artifact that doesn't have resilience, but it sort of has resilience. It has, like, because it works even in the graveyard, right, chat? Correct me if I'm wrong here. Should Mythic Mage be in the cheesy section? Yes. Are they not? No, this is hopeless. Mythic Mages, yeah, you're right. Toxic, yes. Thank you for correcting that. Like, these cards are not cheesy or toxic. They're just so weak and almost, like, impossible to fix, to make strong enough. Flotsam is stupid. It's a stupid card. It, like, the fact that it refreshes an order is so dumb. Because of scouts. Broken Burger. Honestly, I think it's balanced now. I think there's probably better ways to play this card than people currently utilize. It has to be on the board to boost. Okay. So it's an artifact. Vandergriff's Blade is an artifact that stays on the board, does 5 damage, and then the next card you play gets boosted by the base power of the unit you killed. So if you ping something down and then Vandergriff Blade it, like if you like ping down a Goliath and then hit it with Vandergriff Blade, the next card you play while this is on the board gets boosted by 12. Kind of a bit of a red sword vibe to it, but in the same round, not in a different round. So sorry for misleading you with the next round stuff. Bombardment is balanced, but also it's like stupid strong and annoying when there's a lot of engines on the board. But I think it's fine. And this Mad Charge, it's only played in Knights, but it's fine. What is this card? Target practice. Boost an allied unit by 4. If there's a Witcher on the boosted unit's row, also spawn a Witcher suit on there. So this plays as a 6? Why do you exist? I mean, I know with Keldar it's like 8 or whatever, but that's still not worth it. Winch is almost toxic, honestly. Yeah, like Winch is the reason why Refards had to get nerfed. A 4 provision card that resets the cooldown of something that like basically plays a second card that turn. And like you use this on Demovan too. It was problematic with Demovan. It's problematic with, because it's also kind of low risk to banish it with Demovan. This card is like, this card should be destroyed. And then we can buff Demovan back to 7 power. It's for transferring with abuse with Adept. Oh. Well then it's like toxic. I don't know. No, it still sucks. I still wouldn't play it even with Adepts. Like a 4P card that requires another 4P card and a 6P card to be worth playing. I'll just play one of the new 8-for-4s that Nick R keeps liking adding to the game. Because power creep is fun, yeah? Complain about CDPR power creep, get handed the keys to the kingdom, and do all your own power creep all over again. Except in the form of point slam, dumb tempo, and thinning. Woo! So we can play even more polarized decks and draw everything. Who needs engines when you can just shit out points? Vomit the Witcher card game. Okay. What about Kercerin? I think Kercerin's basically balanced. I don't like the fact that it can boost the card in your deck by 4. And it has resilience. So even if you play it in round 1, it can carry over to round 3, which I think is dumb. But it's 8 provisions and it plays a 5P card, so I'll allow it. No, the problem with Kercerin isn't the Witchers, it's the click. This on Siggy is 8 points by itself. Just clicking it on a... Where is Siggy? This guy. This stupid card. Like, you play this in an Erlen cheese deck, it's so dumb. Maybe I should play that to show you guys what it... It boosts by 3. Okay, sorry, it's not 4, it's 3, my bad. That's better, but it's still 6 points on this, and it can boost, like, your Priestess to Zeal range. I guess it's fine. It's not the biggest deal in the world. Enchanted Armor does the same thing. But you have to have the card in hand with Enchanted Armor. I feel like there's some stuff missing from this. Going through, just looking through all these cards. See if I missed something. There's a card they recently reworked and ruined. Wait, it's 5 provisions now? Yeah, Banar Tutor. Whenever you play a unique special card, boost self by 2. What a stupid card. The Johnny with a cap and it's 5 provisions, 4 power. No, thank you. I think Redanian Archers are... Where did I put them? Right now, I think they're a little too weak, but if you buff them by 1 power, they're too strong. Because it takes 5 damage to remove them, and removing them with 5 damage is only 3 tempo for you. But they build up charges over time, so they either play for like 3 points or 15 points. And I don't like cards that have such a low floor and a high ceiling. Yes, Arthi, I have. If you type tier list, you'll see all of them, all the ones that I've done. And on my YouTube, I actually, there's a recording of me going through all the cards. Okay. So I think that's everything. Any comments? Let's stick that in Twitter as well. So we're gonna do a live community voting of these cards, just to see what everybody thinks. But if you like this content, please let me know. I'm going to be doing a neutral cards tier list next. And please like and subscribe. Thank you for your support.